In this video tutorial, we're looking at i-adjectives. Now, if you focus on all the red or pink i at the end of each of those adjectives, you'll see why this category of adjectives is known as i-adjectives. They are by far the most common form of adjective, although later on we will learn a different form of adjective, which is much less common. But i-adjectives all end in e, and as we'll see soon, the e is sometimes removed to change the conjugation of the adjective, and that means to make it either past tense, negative, or negative past tense. But let's start by having a look at the adjectives that we're going to be working with.
新しい、
短い、
長い、
大きい、
いい、
安い、古い、高い。
小さい。
Now we can use adjectives just on their own in a typical A is B sentence. And I've got one here for you. The A part, let's bring it down, is necktie. That's a tie. The B part is an adjective. So we're going to bring the adjective stem down. And we need the adjective ending, which is E, when it's used in the present positive. So that means it is short. Now, A is B sentences, when they become Japanese, the is position is filled by the topic particle wa, and the word which actually means is, and that's des, comes down here at the end of your sentence. So A is B, in this case necktie is short, becomes in Japanese necktie wa mijikai desu. The necktie or the tie is short. The other way that we can use an e adjective is by putting it in front of a noun and so giving more information about that noun. Just like in English, it simply stands in front of the noun. There's no need to change it in any way, but we do need the e on the end of that adjective stem. And here we have mijikai necktie, a short tie. And we can use that in any sentence of our choosing, such as, I like short ties. I will buy a short tie. I saw a short tie, and so on. Now we're going to look at what happens in a Japanese sentence when we want to change our adjective either into a different tense, the past tense, or into the negative, or even into the negative past tense. Let's focus on that initial sentence. Necktie wa mijikai desu. The tie is short. Now I'm going to change that into the past tense. The tie was short. Now in English we change the is into was, and we've made our sentence into the past tense. But in Japanese, when you're making an adjective into the past tense, as in was short, it's not that easy. So where in English you would simply take des and you would replace it with deshita, was. In other words, it was short. That would work in English, but it definitely does not work in Japanese. So we're going to throw deshita away and we're going to put the des back, because no matter what tense, or whether it's positive or negative, our Japanese sentence ending in des keeps its des, even when it changes to the past tense or to the negative past. So what happens then? Well, what we do is we take the e ending from our adjective stem, we remove it, and we replace it with the ending which indicates either past tense, that would be kata, negative, that would be kunai, or past negative, which would be kunakatta. So if we want to say the tie was short, then we're going to take the past ending and we're going to pop it at the end of mijikai. That means we're going to have to move the rest along. And we now have not mijikai but mijikakatta. Let's read the whole sentence. Necktie wa mijikakatta desu. The tie was short, or to say it the Japanesey way, that would be the tie was short. Now what about if we want to say the tie is not short? Okay, we're going to take the past tense ending away. We're going to pop the e ending back. That makes it into present positive, in other words, mijikai. And we're going to do the same process again. Only this time we're going to be replacing the i with a negative ending, which is kunai. And we get necktie wa mijikakunai desu. The necktie or the tie is not short. Now let's have a look at the most difficult ending. It's mostly difficult because it's quite hard to say. So we're going to remove the negative ending. We're going to replace our i ending, which returns mijikai back to its present positive state. We're going to move the maru, the full stop, and the des across. So we now have room to replace that i ending with the past negative ending, which is kunakatta, and we leave the des in place. So we have necktie wa mijikakunakatta desu. The necktie was not short, or the Japanese way, the necktie was not short. Now it sounds complicated, but you'll get used to it very quickly. Now we're going to have a look at what happens when we use an adjective in front of the noun that it's giving more information about. So we're just going to pop that kunakatta, that's the past negative ending, back where it was. Let's pop the i back onto our mijika adjective stem and have a look now at mijikai necktie. Now if we want to say a short tie, then that's what we'd use when we're using the adjective in the positive and present tense. Then it has its i ending as usual. But if we want to say a necktie which was short, we're going to go through the same process. We're going to remove the i. We're going to just move necktie along so we've got room, and we're going to replace the i with katta, just as we did for the sentence above. And we get mijikakatta necktie, a tie which was short. Equally, if we'd like to say a tie which is not short, going to go through the same process again. We're going to remove the i and replace it with kunai. Mijikakunai necktie, a necktie which is not short. And finally, and we're going to have to make a little bit of room there, pop the i ending back on. That's the baseline for an adjective, is it ends in i when it's in the positive present form. But now we're going to change it to the negative past tense. So off goes i, and we replace it with kunakatta. Mijika kunakatta necktie, a tie which was not short. See if you can work out how to make the past tense of oki. Let's do it together. First of all, we're going to remove the I. That's the first step. Then we're going to choose the past tense ending, and we're going to replace the I with a past tense ending, which gives us okikatta. And to be polite, of course, we'd add des on the end of our sentence. Okikatta. What about it is not big? Okay, let's do that one together. Remove the I ending, replace it with the negative ending, and we get okikunai. Okikunai is not big. And then we'd add the rest of our sentence. Let's now try was not big. What do you think that would be? Let's do it together. Remove the I and replace it with a negative past tense ending, which is kunakatta. And we get okikunakatta, was not big.